What's going on, everyone? So, Los Angeles Lakers, they're going to need a center in the offseason. And you're already starting to see a little bit of buzz starting to be drummed up. I think a lot of it is just, headlines. There's nothing crazy going on, right? Teams are kind of in the back end of the season. The Lakers have a couple days off. So, you're starting to get these reports, Clint Capella and, Aferne Simons and Nic Claxton, right? Again, kind of just like, hey, just to let you know, this offseason, Lakers are going to be interested in this guy. Of course they will, right? Like, they need a center. They were interested in Nic Claxton at the trade deadline. They're interested in guys like Clint Capella at the trade deadline. A lot of just like regurgitated, like, hey, what's, at the trade deadline is now. But, same breath, there isn't really much. And Nic Claxton makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. And it's news, so let's talk about it, right? Nic Claxton. What can he bring and provide to the Lakers? What are the pros? What are the cons? Should the Lakers go and trade for it? Of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments, but getting into kind of the meat and potatoes here, Nic Claxton does make a ton of sense, right? He is basically what we want Jackson Hayes to be, right? Lob threat big, can run the floor, right? Switch, versatile defensively, better shot blocker, right? Nic Claxton is just like a better Jackson Hayes, but he's a guy that is not only better than Jackson Hayes, but you would imagine, given what Luka did for Hayes, what he would do for Nic Claxton, right? Like, Nic Claxton, I think, has the potential to be a legit 20-10 guy, right? And a guy that can get you multiple blocks, can defend in the pick and roll, he can defend out on the perimeter, right? He can, slot in multiple ways and just be a very big, impactful piece out there for the Lakers. He is an ideal scenario type of guy. He's also still very young. He's 25 years old. He'll be 26 this April 17th. So a couple days. His contract luckily drops, which is good for the Lakers on the salary cap, especially with, the cap is expected to increase 10% each year. And so you look at this year, he's making $27.5 million. Next year, it'll be making $25.3 million, right? That $2 million is a big difference, especially when you're trying to trade for guys and all that stuff, and just for cap implications. And then he goes to $23 million, and then just under $21 million at $20.9 million. And he'll be 28 years old, 2027, 2028. So he's a guy that gives you the foundation and nucleus you're looking for at the center position alongside Luka. Right? That was the idea with a guy like a Mark Williams, is he's young enough to where you'd have Mark Williams and Luka for the next, 8 to 10 years. Well, Nic Claxton is somebody that is in that range too, right? Like, in 8 years, he'd be 33. So he's a guy that you could have alongside Luka for the foreseeable future and just, again, give you that compliment, because Luka loves that lob threat big, but he's also a guy that can do a little more. He can create a little bit for himself. He's not this crossing dudes up type. So he's not like Giannis out there or anything crazy like that, but he is a guy that can really have an impact, right? So you look at his season thus far, which, keep in mind, numbers are down because minutes are down and everything like that. They've been kind of, they've been terrible. They're tanking part of it. Part of it is like, they've had guys like Davion Sharp, right? They've kind of split minutes. The Nets have just doing Nets things. So keep that in mind. But 66 games, played in 58 games. I know some people might look and go like, okay, well, what's the injury history, right? Well, so far, again, like I said, he's played 66 games thus far. He played 71 the year before and then 76 the year before that. So that's good. It's a good sign that he's giving you around 70 games a season, which is what you want to see. 27.3 minutes per game, which is down from the last 2 years, which he was 29.9 and then 29.8, the 2 years respectively. And then the field goal percentage, he's 8.2 field goals per game, which is the same number of field goals that he got last year at 8.2. Field goal attempts in 2022-2023, though, were 7.7. He has a field goal percentage of 55.1%, which is down from 62.9%. Part of that has been threes. He's taken a couple threes this season, which has really tanked his percentages. He's averaging 0.3 attempts per game and shooting 15.8%, right? That's why it's dropped. Where you look at other years, for the most part, he's a guy that doesn't take any threes. He is that floor running lob threat. He's better Jackson Hayes is the idea, right? 2-point percentage, he is 56.5%. But like I said, he's kind of been more perimeter, right? Not as much as the roll man, the big, the lob threat type thing. But 56.5%, which is down pretty much his entire career. It's the lowest of his career. But again, the way that they've operated him, the way that they've played him has been different. I think he'll get back to being the normal style of player where his role is going to be very simple, right? Rebound, putbacks, lob threat, occasional over the right shoulder, over the left shoulder, maybe a little pick pop here and there. But I think he'll get back to being the Nic Claxton he was in previous years. Free throw shooting has always been abysmal. He's around 50% for his career, 54%. Rebounding, though, he's averaging 7.6 rebounds per game, which is down from the last 2 years, which he averaged 9.2 and then 10 the 2 previous years. He's averaged about 2.3 his career offensive rebounds, which is solid. Not like, oh my God, great, but it's solid, right? Give you 2-3 offensive rebounds a game, could do wonders, right? But rebounding, again, I expect him to go back up. Part of that, again, was his lack of playing time. The 2-3 rebounds is basically 3 minutes that he's not in the game, right? So you can make that argument. Plus, again, Nets have just been a bad team. It's been weird, right? Nic Claxton's had games where he's played like 11 minutes, right? And it's just like, not because of anything. It's just like, they just haven't played him. So those are things that you got to keep in mind. But 2.2 assists, a steal, 1.5 blocks per game. That's the key. That's the factor. The 2 previous years, he averaged over 2. So he's a guy that gives you 2 blocks per game as a shot blocker and 10.2 points. So basically he's a 10-8 guy and 25 minutes of action with 2 blocks and a steal. Sounds pretty good to me. You look up his per 36, which doesn't tell you the whole story, but again, gives you kind of a little bit of an idea of like what he could be in a full-time starting role. He would be basically a 14-10 guy with 3 assists, 1.5 steals, and 2 blocks per game. Perfect, right? I think Nic Claxton on the Lakers, it's just my thoughts, right? Obviously, you don't know until he's actually on the Lakers, if he ever ends up on the Lakers. I think he's probably like a 14-point-a-game guy, right? Maybe not so much while LeBron and Reeves are there, but I do think I could see him essentially averaging with the Lakers around like 14-10, being like a 14-10 guy with like 2 blocks per game, right? Like I think he'll give you, just solid stats, solid numbers, be that defensive anchor for you and just be a big valuable piece for the Lakers moving forward. I don't hate the idea of Nic Claxton at all. If the Lakers go and they trade for him, perfect, right? Is he my favorite on the list of centers? No, but I wouldn't hate it. Now, the biggest concern, the biggest problem with Nic Claxton is his lack of size. Now, he's 6'11", he's athletic, all that stuff, right? He's versatile. But he's 215 pounds soaking wet, right? Like, he needs to bulk up, right? Like, he's not, like, he is, but here's the thing, too, is that Luka likes the lob threat centers, which Nic Claxton is, right? Usually the bigger, kind of more physical, bulky centers aren't the floor-running lob threat centers, right? Those are usually the more back to the basket or just like physically imposing center. So I have my concerns that Lakers are probably not going to get somebody with some real size. But you look at a guy like a Mark Williams, who Lakers were trying to acquire and were interested. Well, he's a guy that has more size on him and can be that lob threat and all that stuff, right? So it's out there. It's just, can you find the right piece? And again, I don't think it would be bad if the Lakers got Nic Claxton. Like, again, if Lakers signed Nic Claxton, beautiful, sign me up, let's go, right? But he's not like somebody that's the answer in a Jokic matchup or anything like that. It's just, no, you're getting an upgrade to Jackson Hayes, right? You're getting a better Jackson Hayes. And I've again talked about like Clint Capella, right? There have been like reports that have came out about Clint Capella, and Lakers may have interest in Clint Capella. He's a guy I wouldn't mind having off the bench. So like, let's say you went and traded for Nic Claxton. I wouldn't mind then turning around and signing Clint Capella as like a backup. And now you have Nic Claxton, who is basically a younger version of what Clint Capella was. And now he gets to kind of be that. And then when he goes to the bench, you're bringing in just a bigger, guy in Clint Capella and, veteran, more experienced, all of that. I think that could be something that could really solve kind of the Lakers center issues, the Lakers center woes. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I like Nic Claxton. Again, not my favorite as far as pecking order goes. I would probably, honestly, if I'm being honest, rather take a look at Mark Williams again, especially if he can continue to stay healthy. But if you told me we landed Nic Claxton, 6'11", he's got a 7'3" wingspan. I think it's like 7'2.5". But he's got the tools, the athleticism, the versatility, can defend out in the pick and roll, can switch out on the perimeter, defend quicker guys, stay in front of guys, block shots, be a good weak side help defender, right? All of those things that you want to see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Hey, Phil, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle? Do you like the idea of Nic Claxton? You kind of like, however you feel. Love to hear it out of the way, so let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.